Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we take a stack of sources, all the research, the notes, and pull out the ideas you really need to know.
And today we are tackling a big one.
A huge one. We're talking about a concept that tries to explain why the most important events in history are almost always the ones nobody saw coming.
Yeah.
We are diving into the world of the Black Swan.
That's it. And for you listening, it's so much more than just a fancy term for, a surprise. According to the source material, a true black swan has to have 3 very specific qualities.
Okay, let's break those down. What are they?
First, it's a total outlier. I mean, nothing in the past gives you any reason to believe it could happen. It's completely unpredictable from the data.
Right.
Second, its impact is massive. We're talking history-altering, life-changing. And third, and this is the real kicker from a psychological standpoint, after it happens, we all look back and create a story that makes it seem, well, completely predictable.
That retrospective explanation. That's the part that's so tricky, isn't it?
It is.
Because it means the problem isn't just the event, it's our own minds. We think we're learning from the past, but we're just getting better at telling stories about what already happened.
Exactly. The central puzzle here is that history is clearly driven by these massive random events, yet most people, and especially the experts, they act as if black swans just don't exist.
They use the wrong tools.
Totally the wrong tools. They're using things like the bell curve, which is designed to measure everyday, mild randomness. It literally cannot account for wild, massive uncertainty. It pretends it isn't there.
So that's our mission today, to get a handle on this anti-knowledge, what we don't know, and maybe can't know, so we can make better decisions in a world that's, fundamentally unpredictable.
Right, so let's start with why we're so blind to them in the first place. The first major blinder is something called the narrative fallacy.
Okay, our love of a good story.
Our vulnerability to a good story. We just can't handle raw facts, so we force them into a neat cause and effect narrative. It makes the world feel simpler and a lot less random than it really is.
And that process messes with our memory, right?
It completely distorts it. The sources bring up this great media example. So, one day, U.S. Treasury bonds fell. The news bulletin immediately said it was because of Saddam Hussein's capture.
A nice, clean reason.
A perfect story. But then, just half an hour later, the bonds went up a bit.
Uh-oh.
And the next news bulletin said the rise was also because of Saddam's capture, but this time it was, boosting the allure of risky assets.
So the same event explained a thing and its complete opposite.
Exactly. It shows we just crave a narrative, any narrative. It's not about truth, it's about making things make sense in hindsight.
And that desire to make things fit a story, that leads right into the second big blinder, the confirmation bias.
We are just hardwired to look for evidence that proves we're right. If I think all swans are white, I'll spend my whole life finding white swans.
And every white swan I see makes me more confident.
But seeing a million white swans doesn't prove there are no black ones. It just takes one single black swan to shatter your entire theory.
So what's the fix for that?
It's a mental shift to what's called negative empiricism. The idea is you get closer to the truth not by proving things right, but by proving them wrong.
Okay. That feels counterintuitive.
It is, but think about it. The most solid knowledge we have, it's often negative. In medicine, for example, finding one malignant tumor confirms you have cancer. That's a very confident diagnosis.
Right.
But a clear scan, the absence of a tumor, that doesn't confirm you're perfectly healthy with the same level of certainty. We know what's wrong far more confidently than what's right.
And when we ignore all these biases, we fall into the trap of what's it called? Platonicity.
Yes, platonicity. It's basically thinking our neat models of the world are the world. We confuse the map with the territory.
And the Platonic fold is where the map just falls apart when it hits reality.
It's the explosive moment where your beautiful, clean theory gets run over by a messy, unpredictable fact that you had filed away as impossible.
And that's where the real damage happens.
Absolutely. Which brings us to a really crucial framework for thinking about all this. We have to separate the world into 2 different kinds of environment.
Right, because not all randomness is the same. This is mediocristan and extremistan.
This is the core idea, and it all comes down to one thing: scalability.
Right.
Mediocristan is the world of mild randomness. Things are physically constrained. Think about human height or weight. The collective, the average, that's what matters.
So if you get 1,000 people in a room, the tallest person isn't going to be 1,000 times taller than the shortest. There's a limit.
Exactly. And a dentist's income is in mediocristan. They can't make 1,000,000 times more than another dentist because they're limited by the number of hours in a day. The bell curve? it sort of works here.
But then there's extremistan.
And this is the domain of wild randomness. Here, variables are scalable. There's no physical limit. Think about wealth, book sales, social media followers.
Or financial markets.
Especially financial markets. In extremistan, one single event, one single person can completely dominate the total. The average is meaningless.
This is the J.K. Rowling effect, right? Her sales just dwarf thousands of other authors combined.
It's pure winner take all. And this is where the bell curve is not just wrong, it's dangerously misleading. It assumes those extreme events are so rare, they're basically impossible.
But in extremistan, they happen all the time.
And they account for everything. A scalable career, like a writer or a trader, is a lottery. It's defined by these extreme outliers, these black swans, both good and bad.
So if our most important systems, like finance and politics, are in extremistan, but we treat them like they're in mediocristan,
then our entire approach to prediction is a house of cards.
Which leads to the big one, the problem of induction.
Or, as it's better known, the turkey problem.
The turkey. Okay, so a turkey gets fed every single day for 1,000 days.
Every day confirms its belief that the farmer is a good guy and that life is great. The data is a beautiful, smooth upward trend.
Its confidence is growing every single day.
Its confidence peaks on day 1,000, and then day 1,001 is Thanksgiving.
And the whole model collapses. Vertically.
What's so brutal about that is that the turkey's feeling of safety was at its absolute maximum right when the risk was highest. Learning from the past was not just useless, it was fatal.
Wow. So, how do we know if we're being the turkey?
The rule of thumb is, if you're in an extremistan environment, any projection based on the past is probably poison. The longer things have been calm and stable, the more skeptical you should probably be.
This sounds like what the book calls epistemic arrogance. We just think we know way more than we do.
And it's been proven in experiments. They asked Harvard Business School students to give a range for certain facts, like the number of Catherine the Great's lovers, a range they were 98% confident was correct.
So they should have been wrong only 2% of the time.
Right. In reality, their error rate was almost 45%.
45%? That's insane.
It means we are, on average, about 22 times too comfortable with what we think we know.
And it gets worse, because more information doesn't always help. It can actually be toxic.
It's a total paradox. There was this experiment with a blurry picture of a fire hydrant. One group saw it resolve very slowly in many steps. The other group saw fewer, clearer steps.
So the ones who saw fewer steps got it faster?
Much faster.
Yeah.
Because the extra blurry information just created more noise, it led them to form all these wrong hypotheses and confuse them.
Which brings us to the final flaw in prediction, the Ludic fallacy.
This is a big one. It's confusing the clean, simple randomness of games, like rolling dice, with the messy, wild uncertainty of real life.
But the world isn't a casino.
No, but the irony is that even casinos fall for this. They spend millions on models to predict risks from cheaters inside the casino. But the sources point out their biggest losses ever came from things outside their models.
Like what?
Like the owner's daughter getting kidnapped for ransom, or a performer's tiger mauling an audience member. Things their spreadsheets could never ever predict. They were modeling the wrong universe of risk.
So if prediction is basically a scandal, what do? If we can't predict, we have to adapt.
That is the only answer. You have to shift your entire focus from prediction to preparation.
Okay, so what are the strategies for that? How do you prepare for something you can't see coming?
Well, the first is to just accept that most big breakthroughs were accidents. The computer, penicillin, the internet, all black swans, nobody planned them. So you have to maximize your exposure to positive accidents, to serendipity.
This is the Apéal strategy, the painter who couldn't get the foam on his painting right.
That's the one. He got so frustrated he just gave up and threw his sponge at the canvas.
And it created the perfect effect.
Exactly. The strategy is to tinker. Constantly. Try lots of small, cheap experiments. You have to be willing to fail a lot, but on a small scale so you can stumble into that one massive, unexpected win.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the next strategy?
The next is to be brutally aware of silent evidence. This is also called survivorship bias.
We only see the winners. We forget about the giant graveyard of failures.
A huge, silent cemetery. Think about it. We look at wildly successful entrepreneurs and we copy their habits, thinking that's the key to success.
But we're not seeing the thousands of other people who had the exact same habits and failed anyway because of bad luck.
Precisely. We celebrate Casanova's incredible luck with women and adventures, but we don't hear from the thousands of other adventurers from his time who got stabbed in a duel or died of disease. To see reality clearly, you have to actively look for the failures.
So tinker a lot, look for the failures. How do you actually structure your life or your investments around this?
This is the final and most practical strategy. It's called the barbell strategy.
Okay, a barbell. Two heavy ends and nothing in the middle.
Exactly. You avoid the dangerous, unpredictable middle ground of medium risk. Instead, you go to both extremes at once.
So how does that work?
On one side of the barbell, you are hyper-conservative. You put, say, 80 to 90% of your assets, your savings, your core career, in things that are incredibly safe and protected from negative black swans.
Total safety with the bulk of your stuff.
Right. And then with the other small part, the other 10 or 20%, you are hyper-aggressive. You take huge risks on things exposed to positive black swans, speculative projects, wild ideas, things where the downside is small, you can only lose that 10%, but the upside is unlimited.
So you're safe from ruin, but you're open to incredible unexpected opportunity. You've gotten out of the turkey's cage.
You have. You've moved from trying to predict the future to just being robust to it, whatever it brings.
It's just so clear from all this that our minds, they're just not built for this stuff. We struggle so much with randomness. We want a story. We want predictability, even when we live in a world that's anything but.
We do. And we end up overestimating what we know and totally underestimating the effect of what we don't.
Yeah.
And weirdly, we grossly overestimate how long bad things will affect us. We forget how good we are at adapting.
Which brings us to a final, really provocative thought from the source material. You, the listener, are a black swan.
That's right. The specific chain of events, of luck, of ancestry that had to happen for you to exist right now, it's a statistical miracle, an event of monstrous improbability.
So if you accept that you are this staggeringly rare, positive black swan,
then maybe you should stop sweating the small stuff.
Stop obsessing over the bad meal, the rude comment, the tiny, predictable risks of daily life. Don't be the person who gets a castle as a gift and then spends all their time worrying about a little bit of mildew in the bathroom.